to fill in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm still very optimistic about how this Outlaws lineup is going to perform.
I mean, we can only just wait and see. And I'm so glad to see a lot of teams are getting signed. And it's really just showing that it's going to be a very, very interesting year. Just good things to come all around. So this first band now, I am too. Don't you worry.
It's nice to finally like have this like structure, because we had the qualifiers last season, but it wasn't like a league, and we ran into some of the problems of the Swiss format where some teams didn't actually face each other until the LAN finals, and that was a weird situation to come into. But now that we're going to have this league, all teams are going to be fighting against each other, and there's going to be consistent competition, and I'm super excited for it. And these two teams could very well be in that league. I mean, Darksided, they do have to attempt to re-qualify because they've pretty much got a new lineup aside from Hacky, but Outlaws very much close to getting into that one. Actually, because I think they are the former NMD lineup, so they would be already qualified, I believe.
Yep. All the core three have stayed the same, so they do auto-qualify. But let's bring it back to the draft for a moment here. That Sonya being banned, as well as the Grey main, no Genji on the board. I'm anticipating that Genji should or will be picked up here. I feel like he's just too good to let go, and he does work on a map like Cursed Hollows still quite well.
Absolutely. His strength is... it's hard to just say how strong he is, but I'm just not entirely sure if he will be a first pick. There are other picks that could take that first slot, like the ETC that we've seen, but we've seen that get punished a fair bit. But we could just see the Genji because it's just a very consistent damage. Or it's actually going to be the Dahaka. So we saw that banned in the previous game by, I believe it was Crimson was the one that banned that, not wanting to deal with that global pressure, but we are going to be seeing it in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Dahaka pick as well. It means that Genji is still on the board. As you said, Genji, yes, he's a good pick, but not necessarily you don't have to rush to pick him as of such. It's just showing that he is open. If neither team pick him up, maybe even he'll be banned in the next phase. Because as we know, he can get countered quite easily with a lot of CC, similar to ETC, right? So if you just want to wait and see what the team's bringing, then he can slot in a lot better. The Dahaka I very much like. As I mentioned before, it's that global pressure coming out, and with minions just being as good as they are now, by having the extra ability to clear out a lane before you come to the objective to do your fight, it makes such a great difference in the experience levels that your team can gain.
Yeah, absolutely. And now just looking at the blue side, they do have to pick up the Arthas and the Lucio. You spoke of that combination in the previous game, not wanting to have those two on the same side, because once that Arthas gets in there, thanks to the help of that movement speed, it's very hard to dislodge yourself from that Arthas. So that is going to be a very powerful combination for them. But on the other side, the ETC, it is going to be picked up yet again. We've not seen the best results coming out of ETC today. We've seen him get punished more often than not. But he is still a very strong pick in the current meta.
Well, the ETC pick in response to the Arthas and Lucio is just saying, if you're going to come engage on us, because we know you have the speed, you can initiate whenever, we're going to try have some anti-engage. I mean, ETC can put him in their stopping tracks. He's got a lot of heal potential and that team fight potential as well. But remember that ETC, it doesn't always have to be about that mosh pit as well. Hovering over the bans now, Gul'dan being hovered. I wonder if they want to actually ban him out. Well, we saw Gul'dan last map as well as Li Ming.
It was picked in the last map, but you saw he didn't get the most value, was getting punished a hell of a lot, especially with by the engage of something like the Nubarak. KVA played it very well and punished the Gul'dan's positioning incredibly well. So it's still a strong pick, and that Horrify can do wonders against some of those squishy targets. I'm just interested to see what kind of pick this team is actually going to go for. Maybe they want to go for something like a Tracer or some very squishy engage or squishy assassin, because if you have those squishy assassins, they do get punished a hell of a lot by that Horrify.
Absolutely. So it just shows that they do not want to give any more crowd control than already given to the side of Team Darksided. But these guys now, they're just waiting And I mean, they're dipping into their time. I guess they're trying to figure out what do they want. I mean, they've left their damage picks for last, which is quite an amiable thing to do. Doesn't really give away your cards. It means that they can counter pick very, very effectively as well. And they're anticipating a little bit of that, so they're banning out the Tassadar. So if it is going to be a Vala, or as you said, a Tracer coming out, really negating a lot of that safety that you can bring by having the Tassadar paired with her.
Yeah, now I have to wait and see what they go with. They're actually going to go with the Leming and also the Abathar. Interesting. So we're going to see some more macro style play coming out from them, and we once we hit level 10, if we do end up having double Leming, that is going to be, well, we saw what happened in the previous game. Once a Leming starts getting resets and starts getting the ball rolling, it's pretty damn powerful. So if you have two of those going in, that's a little scary.
It can be. And what I'm already seeing, though, on the side of Outlaws, there's not a lot of crowd control to be able to stop the ETC. I'm really just seeing the force of will coming out from Li Ming to stop that mosh pit. So very, very interesting how they've drafted. So I'm thinking they're going to be playing the poke game, see if Li Ming can get one of them low, and then they can rush on in with that Lucio and the Arthurs. Or see if they can catch someone out. With that Abathur as well, it's nice. It'll really help negate what Dahak is trying to bring in terms of that experience and that soaking in lane. So with these last two picks, though, I wouldn't be too surprised if Vala was to come out. Ooh, but there's the Genji, that last pick right there. All the conditions were met.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really the punishment coming out of the side of Outlaws, but we do have the Illidan, so we're going for the old school combo of the Abathur and the Illidan to finish off that draft. So that is going to be a very interesting composition to see go at it. But going back over to the red side, that Nazebo pick, I'm not entirely sold by Nazebo in the current state of the game. What are you feeling about it?
I'm also not too, I guess, convinced about it. Only the reason why is that because I've been seeing a lot more shorter games, people are able to really capitalize on the lane with the minion snowball, push all the way through. But if you can reach that mid to late game, as long as you're stacking quite efficiently, he can become an absolute monster. You let Nazebo get to that late game, he turns into an absolute monster. And that's what it almost puts the game on a little bit of a ticking clock because you want to try and end. But same goes for, I guess, with Abathur, with Illidan as well. These guys, they scale quite well into the late game.
Yeah, I actually kind of had them crossed over in my mind, and it actually makes a lot more sense now that I see that Lahal is on that Nazebo. Everything just slots into place. We see that's just a pick that he has had in his repertoire for
Poison
years.
Master, whether it was Lunara, whether it was Nazebo, he made a name for himself. We called him the toxic one.
The toxic, but in a nice way. He was just really good with all the toxic heroes.
All the poisonous ones. But all right, let's kick this off. We'll get the teams introduced. This is Darksided on the red side, and it's got Hacky playing Li Ming, Sailor Moon on Lucio, Deceptive Smurf playing Illidan, Azog the Cat on Arthurs, and Doubt playing Abathur.
And I think he said it was the red side. On the red side is going to be Outlaws. We have Pandemonium on the Malfurion.
Oh, sorry.
On the Nazebo. Coffee is on the Genji, IBW is on the ETC, and Gondo is going to be on that Dahaka.
Must get tested for colorblindness. Hey, that's a real thing for people these days. So I got to have my colorblind mode on to make sure that I don't get them crisscrossed and mismatched.
Yeah, all right. So we are getting into the level 1. Just too much happening. We've got a lot of very conservative starts from both sides. We did have Hacky and Sailor Moon on the bottom side, just looking for any potential overextension. We do have Gondo here to respond to this push coming out from the two members now, but there is going to have a rather similar start, but instead of trying to react and try and get a similar push on the other side, they are just going to go for a gank. Outlaws are trying to take down this Lucio.
Beautiful.
They're going to be able to get them. Nice lockdown. The Tangling Roots, the ETC Power Slide, and the Zombie Wall actually coming in very nicely there, and they will be able to secure that first kill.
That zombie wall was beautiful by Lahal there, and he has opted to go for the Widowmakers, showing that he's going to be trying to dish out a lot of damage onto a single hero of his choosing. And I was looking at Illidan's build, seeing what he got. He has also gone bad at Assault, so very much it's going to be focused on the team fights that are breaking out. So very, very interesting to see with both sides. I mean, PvE is going to be a secondary objective for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, we do have these very teamfight-centric builds coming out from both sides, but Illidan, he's always been one of those heroes that does very well when it comes to dealing with neutral camps. As we see, he already took that siege camp by himself with a little bit of help from the Abathur, I believe. and now he's just making his way towards that hard camp. So that's one thing that Illidan, I guess, he always filled that role, but now it's something that he can do just even better now and make more advantages out of that, as we do have the camps being much more obnoxious to deal with. But they do actually try and get an invade, as Gondo is actually going to start walking in with the Dahaka, but with the Abathur hat is going to be a bit hard to deal with. We do have Azog rotating around. Now the Outlaws might have overstayed their welcome. They do manage to get them off the point, but just a little bit. But they're just going to be losing the camp. It does go over to the side of Darksided, and this fight is going to go in their way as well. So Outlaws overstaying their welcome, and they are going to get punished for this.
Yeah, really. I mean, it was very, very ambitious what they were trying to do, and the response from Darksided, they were not going to let this one go through. So with that, they really just kiss any chance of defending that first tribute bye-bye, because the advantage now goes right back into Outlaws. Darksided. I keep getting them mixed up.
Darksided and all their branding is red, so
yep.
I'm just going to say that that is the reason why it's a little bit of the confusion.
Just stuck in there, right? No, but don't worry, I've got it from here on out.
we got it, but yeah, Darksided, a very strong start. That those 4 kills are going to, and also this tribute, is going to allow them to really expand this early game lead. They do have a full level in front of the Outlaws. As we do have the Illidan going in, but he has so much lockdown coming towards him that he has to be very careful with how far he goes in. Let's manage to get out of there, but it is going to be just a little bit of training back and forth. So now they just go in all aggressive, like as Azog is going to get in there with the help of the Lucio, but they're not going to be able to take anyone down just yet. So he's going to take a lot of aggressive pressure. The nice tongue drag coming out from the Dahaka brought him under the fort, but didn't have nearly enough damage. And that's one of the things with the Nazeebo, he doesn't really have that early game damage spike. Sure, he can deal a decent amount over time, but you don't necessarily have that follow-up spike damage that you kind of want onto some of the CC that you have out of the Dahaka and an ETC.
I mean, even though Outlaws, they were wiped trying to get that Bruiser camp invade, they're still not too far behind on experience. With this next tribute spawning, they can actually fight for it. Lahal, he's clearing out the waves, and they're all in a good position for now. Just need to make sure that they don't get picked off before the actual fight can begin. And I like this from Coffee. He's putting out a lot of pressure now. Just trying to just poke down, see if they can get a bit of that squish happening. But Sailor Moon, he's keeping them so topped up as Lucio.
Yeah, and with the talent advantage on the side of Darksided, they can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. And Outlaws, we see they're trying to get in, trying to force away and stall out this point. Try and let that Dahaka on the other side of the map get some kind of advantage out of it. But you can see they're just dropping so very low as Coffee went a little bit too far forward and ends up getting taken down by the Illidan. As they also lost the ETC, so they tried to get the play going. They tried to stall out for as long as they could, but in the end they got punished yet again. And this is going to be another tribute going over to Darksided. They're also going to start invading.
Coffee really wanted to get the interrupt, but he forgot about, or maybe he didn't forget, maybe he knew it, but he thought he could get out. But the sticking power from Illidan, he's not going to let you go. And Deceptive Smurf, he saw his opportunity and he took it. And that just left poor Panda. She's just like, where is my team gone? Trying to support through all of that. So these guys, they might be feeling a little bit shaken, a little bit tilted right now, but they can easily still bring it back. It's anyone's game. But what could change all of that is getting the 3rd tribute. And then by getting that curse, you can start to snowball the game in your favor.
Yeah, with this boss starting to push in, that is going to be something that Outlaws are going to have to send someone to deal with. They do have the Dahaka to potentially try and deal with the boss, and also have the ability to rejoin the fight on the other side of the map, because we see the tribute that is for next is very favorable for the side of Darksided, and it's going to put Outlaws into a rather awkward position for how they want to play this. Level 10 is almost up for Darksided. That's something that they'll more than likely want to get before this tribute is an issue, but we'll have to wait and see if they're going to be able to get it just in time.
Well, I like that Darksided, they made a play for that boss quite early, so there's constant pressure now on that bottom lane, and Abdur's sitting pretty as well, adding even more push to it. So Darksided, they're sitting in a pretty nice spot right now, and if they can get that level 10, or Azog dropping quite low.
But with the help of the Abathur and the extra shields is going to help them out, and now the fight is going to turn it around. The Illidan has gone in with those spikes, is going to help clean up the first kill. The Nafion is down, that's the support down for Outlaws, and that is just essentially forcing Outlaws to just hit the retreat button, but they're not going to be able to. As Sailor Moon on this Lucio is just going to be able to chase down Gondo. That's another kill. They're going to be able to pick up a 3rd as IBW trying to help him out, and that's going to be yet another one. We do have the Abathur trying to take out, or take the get the tribute, but he does get forced away by Coffee, but they're still more than likely going to be able to get it as the Metamorphosis does get popped, and he is just going to chase down Coffee, and he does manage to get away with that extra dash, so nicely done, but he is going to be forced to give up that tribute, and that is going to be a curse.
I mean, Outlaws, they saw that opportunity. They really did want to try and get that kill, which meant that it would have made it all the more harder for them to get that tribute on the side of Darksided. But because they didn't get the kill and it was flipped so badly on their head, it actually just set them a lot more now behind. But this could be it finally. Azog does go down for their troubles. So that was great to see, because it would have been so frustrating for the Outlaw guys to not have that kill. Now, however, they've got that curse, and you can already see Deceptive Smurf. He is split pushing all day right now. He's just trying to get as much damage, help the siege camp progress as far as he can in the lane.
Yeah, even though it was a nice kill coming out for the Outlaws, picking up Azog, he stayed around a little bit too long, then it is just going to just stunt some of this forward movement coming out of Darksided, but there's still a reasonable... What am I trying to say? There's still a decent amount behind. They're 2 levels down. They've almost got a talent here on the side of Darksided. And this is just going to cause Darksided just go for the second boss, because they realize that this curse is going to put enough pressure onto the lanes that it's still going to force Outlaws to try and make a play.
Yeah, and with that 13 looming as well, it'll mean that they're down a talent tier. So not looking to force any fights, just want to defend their base as much as possible. They've held on to their keeps, and a little bit of that I think that middle fort will probably drop here as well. Just so much pressure coming out from the push by Hacky. Boss as well, taken. So that, as you said, even more pressure coming out.
Yeah, now it looks like they want to just keep on going for the fight. They do get them a Sun Drag onto Deceptive Smurf, but he is fine to keep on going in with the help of the Outer. A nice, great interrupt there. A great Twilight Dream does help out, but there's just nothing else to help out the Malfurion, who goes down immediately. A Dragon Blade is going to start slicing through the members of Darksided, but there's just not enough damage coming out. There's just so low health bars on the side of Darksided. They're not able to finish any of them off as Deceptive. It's going to get dragged in towards the towers, but the rest of the team is already going down. They do manage to clean up the Illidan eventually, but in the end, it's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Darksided.
Considering that Darksided engaged that fight fully intending to win, with the losses that they suffered, I mean, it was actually going to be quite close. You could see Coffee with the Dragon Blade going out. Those members were so low. He just needed that one reset. You could see he wanted it so badly, but got dropped. If he got those resets, it would have been a totally different story, and that was down their talent to advantage. So, I mean, props to Darksided. Often we can see teams in AZ or just, in our region, I mean, you want to play it safe. You don't want to take unnecessary engagement, but when you do have the advantage, it's good to try and push it the way they did. Except I don't think they expected Outlaws to fight back as well as they did.
Yeah, and I guess once you go into those very narrow corridors, when you get in the lanes and in the jungle, that is essentially where this lineup of Outlaws want to play. We have the Nazebo, who wants to just zone control in those small spaces, especially with the wild zombies, the toads, and also the spiders. They can really punish those very clumped up targets, and we have these very expansive fights coming out of Darksided, and when they start throwing themselves into those very close quarters, we saw what could come out of this Outlaws lineup. It's just, as you mentioned, they were down the tiers, down the levels, and just that little bit of those extra numbers probably would have helped out a hell of a lot in that fight.
Yeah, and I think they'd be very, very aware of that. They chose to clear out and grab the minion camps. They're not too worried about contesting the tribute yet. It's only the first one, just looking to see if they can get the lanes pushing for them in their favor, because with those outers gone, there's just so much pressure that Darksided can bring, so much more control of the map that it gives you, because you lose that sight that the forts can give you. So you always just want to be mindful that you're not going to be getting ganked.
Yeah, and now with this little bit of extra time, it's just going back to essentially just a holding pattern for now, just waiting for the next big objective to come onto the map. But we do have the boss available on the bottom side for Darksided. It looks like they just want to push out the minion waves as much as possible and then set up for that boss. But as this tribute is going to be spawning, this should force Outlaws onto this side of the map. And that could give them an opportunity to make a play towards this boss, but they are way too late in making a play.
No, they were just playing it passively. They just don't want to get ganked, as I said, just keeping themselves safe. There's Abaddon Mines as well, just providing them so much sight on the side of Darksided, making sure that they know where these guys are approaching. I was constantly looking at the tribute just because of the proximity of it to the boss, and I'm like, if this goes out well, Darksided can cap both.
Exactly, and now the boss is going to be that point of pressure for the side of Darksided. They can play this tribute incredibly slowly. They don't need to rush it at all. They have the tools to stall this out with the long-range poke coming out of the living. They do get a nice drag down onto the Lucio. They're trying to take him down. He gets very low. He gets demolished immediately. So great start to the fight for the Outlaws. They do manage to get the Dragon Blade in to start putting damage down onto the Darksided members. But they are just going to be trading kills back and forth. Hacky is going to be taken very low. He's trying to get away from Coffee, but he just doesn't have enough. And this is a brilliant fight for the Outlaws. They start to get something going in their favor. And it all started from a brilliant tongue drag coming out from Gondo.
It really, really did. That pick on Lucio was so advantageous, really helped them win that fight. However, the boss, this is why we were just hoping that they would go contest. I mean, even though it would have been a trap though, we could see as well, oh, Coffee dropping low. The fight is not yet over. Panda, incredibly low, she gets popped. Deceptive Smurf still alive. Very, very healthy. The Abathur helping him out.
Yeah, and that's one thing we need to really be mindful of when it comes to these fights, is that yeah, you may lose a member or two, but that Abathur on anyone is going to be really obnoxious. And one thing that's really understated is how hard and Arthas is to deal with. Once he has that Abathur hat on him, he's going to be sustaining so much, he's going to be doing a whole bunch of extra damage. And because Outlaws weren't able to cleanly take that tribute, they were just too late in, and it allowed Darkseid to get back into the position to just contest it. As you mentioned, able to get that kill onto Pandemonium and take the tribute for themselves, and this sets up yet another curse.
Deceptive Smurf. I mean, that Illidan, he's so important to take down in the fights. I mean, yes, it was great to get Lucio, to get Li Ming out. A real carry here. With that Abathur hat on him, as you said, he just becomes an absolute monster. It's one of those old school combos, very, very feared for this reason. Just so much pressure, so much damage coming out, and as soon as he got his health back, he was ready to recontest. So although the fight was pretty much won by Outlaws, they actually lost the structure and they ended up losing the tribute as well. So how bad does that feel? Even though they technically won the team fight. Yeah,
it does feel pretty bad. And now that this next shrine is, or the next tribute is up, looks like Darksided want to get the fight going. They do have the double Arthas coming in. We do have a nice flame coming out from Gondo, but doesn't actually get any of the lockdown. Twilight Dream does get used, hits the Illidan, and it looks like they do manage to get the Dragon Blade going in, takes out the Lehman, takes out the Illidan. That's both of the damage dealers down on the side of Darksided. Great fight coming out for the Outlaws. They will finally get their first tribute of the game, and maybe they can start to mount a comeback now.
Much, much better fight coming out from Outlaws. And you can really see they're getting to their own now. They know exactly who they need to focus. Both damage dealers down this time. We're not making the same mistake. Now they have nothing to engage with us. And Dahaka, that global pressure, he's stopping what Abathur is bringing. So that siege camp as well, he can easily rotate, clear it out. So as you said, this is also starting to tick into the late game. I was checking out Lahal's stats. He's already on 197. He qualified for that a long time ago. He's very, very mindful. And that power spike will be achieved in a couple more minutes.
Yeah, that is going to be a massive point of power should they get to level 20 and still be in this game. This next tribute should end up going over to the side of Outlaws, and they're also going to be able to pick up a boss on themselves, so that will give them a little bit of extra pushing pressure and try and push that experience game towards the very late game. They want that level 20. They know that once they hit that, that is when their damage really spirals out of control with that Gazebo. But Darksided, they're just playing the cautious game right now. They realize that now that they need to be very, very much aware of this team fight coming out of Outlaws, and that they can't underestimate how much they've been getting taken apart in these fights. But it looks like they're just going to go for the nice engage down onto Gondo. He's trying to get out. He wants to get out of there. He uses the isolation down onto Hacky. He is going to be very sustained in this fight. Oh, that is a lot of damage. And see ya, mate. He's just going to go down.
Very, very interesting. I like the way they're playing this on the side of Darksided. Now they know that they're starting to get a little bit worried that they're losing these fights. So they say, how can we try and turn the tide back into our favor? Dahaka, he's pretty immobile if we can surprise collapse him. We've got the tools to do so with the Lucio, with the Arthas. And that was a very, very smart play. It could be game over for the Outlaw guys.
Or they want to go for the all-in. A nice sound barrier completely negates a lot of the Dragon Blade damage, and Coffee so very low. The Nice Father Dream does hit all of the members of Darksided, but they're not able to follow up on that. And without the Dahaka in that backside, trying to split apart all, not able to get the fights to go. A bit of an awkward mosh pit there coming out from IBW. Them away, but that was a great fight. attempt at an all-in coming out from Darksided, and it does open up the map a whole lot more.
Darksided, they're showing their fangs again. They're saying, you may have beaten us in the last few fights, but we're definitely not down and out. And they actually do manage to get the curse. Down in a lot of trouble though. They've gone Abathur hunting, Outlaws, and they're hungry for the kill. He's down and out, so that split push pressure is going to finally cease for at least a couple seconds. Give him about a minute of Abathur. So Illidan now suddenly, he's lost his best pal.
Yeah, I mean, he could have had the opportunity to use his ultimate evolution, but it was used in that all-in attempt. They wanted to use the double Illidan to put as much pressure onto the core, which, by the way, is down to 54%. So should there be any convincing fight in favor of Darksided, that is just going to be a core push right away. But with this,
I'm worried.
Yeah, could be a rather cataclysmic end to this game. But they are just going to back away, realizing that that Outlaws were starting to move their way towards that boss, not wanting to go for that engage, especially when they don't have that Abathur on the map. Yeah,
that shows great game sense by Darksided. They know that the boss is pretty much, it can be their win condition. That boss on the way to the core that they already saw up with them pushing could be the win condition that they're looking for. And Outlaws as well, they're very, very much aware of it, and they feel as though they can contest. Both teams have hit their storm towns. Both teams are now at level 20. Viral Infection was taken up by Nazeebo. This is what we want to watch now. This is what he's been building up towards, Lahal.
Yeah, this is where the game is going to start getting really dicey. The boss zone is actually going to hit two members on the side of Outlaws. They are going to start making their way towards it as Gondo goes in from the side. It gets a great lockdown onto the Illidan, but they are just going to throw everything into the pot. The boss does go over to the side of Outlaws in a great mosh pit, and they're going to start on the other side of Darksided. And with this fight going incredibly in favor of Darksided, this could go. That was just cataclysmic. We were talking about the fight. Why go in for the fight when you have that team fight composition on the side of Outlaws, especially once they've hit that level 20 spike? But Darksided thought that they could have that fight in their way.
Darksided, right there. This could pretty much spell the end for them. I believe this will be the end. I don't think they'll be able to respawn in time to defend. Plus, there is pretty much a fully health boss still marching towards their core. And that was just the fight there. I could see what Hacky was trying to do, because remember, they have the ETC. Ice Boiled Water on the ETC, ready to go, putting a lot of that pressure. Hacky, he was trying to boop him away with the wave 4, see if he could buy enough time to sort of, I guess, mini stun him and see if they could cap in that time. But you could see Icebolt and Coffee, they went in, and then it was so awkward because then you have to fight on the point to cap, and that's not the way the team fight was going to work out for Darksided.
Yeah, and that's just going to be it. It was so very well done from Darksided. For the majority of that game, it seemed like they were ahead for about 15 of those 19 minutes. But in the end, it was just one cataclysmic fight that went so very much in favor of Outlaws, and that's going to be them taking it in the end.
Alrighty, but I'm super keen. I mean, this game was just wonderful to watch, and this is exactly why we had the day, but I'm super keen to hear from Skimmy and Kitfox, their thoughts on the match.
That was incredible. Two of the best-known orgs in Australia, ANZ, going head-to-head against each other in a game that they are both very, very new to. Darksided with a bit more experience, but not with their current lineup. Outlaws with little to no experience as an org in a HOTS team, but that was incredible. I mean, the Game of Throws in the boss pit, Skimmy, it doesn't matter what map it's on, it's always going to come out, and for Outlaws to pinch that boss away from Darksided while Abathur was down was extremely smart.
Bro, I was like screaming at my computer screen. I actually was like, what are you doing right now? Because like that was all they needed to win with. You can hear KVA popping off in the background. But I mean, like, oh, bro, it was like this game that they had in full control. But as it started to scale on through, like, Deceptive Smurf on Illidan wasn't really able to achieve too much. Like, it gets to the point in time where you want to try and use that Metamorphosis to juke out stuff, right? You want to juke out the power slides or juke out an Azebo, even to Harker Malfurion, primarily for that Twilight Dream. It wasn't able to happen, so he was never really able to become that beefy, one-centric focus that he's designed to be, right? So, I mean, it comes down to, they scaled, they reached level 20, they managed to hang on in, it went down to a boss call, it was predictable. Yep. They get the absolute dream mosh pit into pounding of the fist, and I was just like, well, that's it, boys, GG.
Huge players. I really liked the Ultimate Evolution Abathur, though, on the side of Darksided. Special mention to that. I mean, to go in with a double Arthas, double Illidan or double Leeming, depending on the situation. I mean, that was incredibly smart. Double Arthas is huge, but the Outlaws coming out on top. Nazebo was a questionable pick. I heard Vandy and Geo Phoenix talking about it, and chat was, Nazebo 2018, trash. He come out with top siege damage, top hero damage by a good, by 8k over the next best Genji. So Lahal played fantastically.
But that's Lahal in a nutshell, right? He is known as the Nazebo player of ANZ, right? Like, if anybody says he's trash, he will pick it out. It's like, you have like a pocket Gazlo in North America, right? You have these people that bust out stuff like Nazebo, and he makes it look good, and he hits 20, and this says, hello, like, I was dominating you all early game, now I'm just going to absolutely smash in a late game. See you next round, boys. I've got a sub, and I've got my girlfriend playing support. How does that feel?
See you later, mate. So well done. Congratulations to Outlaws. They're going to get the victory. I do believe they're going to be going up against Crimson as well, Skimmy, in the next bracket. So that'll be awesome. Your boy KVA in the background. He's just going to step outside and just calm his nerves after that one, because
I'll tell you what, mate. If he wins that game, I'm going to bring him in for a live interview. We're going to bring this production up to